We are live, guys. This meeting is now being live streamed. So I'm going to say, well, I'll say good evening to those in the UK, the very cold UK at the moment. And good morning to those in Australia. As you can see, Steve is somewhere very beautiful and exotic. And then we've got Tom Richards back for round two. He's obviously a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
And in the corner, we've got Anne Henderson-Stires, who played the original Susan Palmer. So we've got 3 original cast members. So welcome, guys. Welcome, Anne, Tom, and Steve. How are you all?
Good, thank you. Good.
Yeah,
good.
you're back again, Tom. Yes, you just wanted to come back for round 2, didn't you?
Yes, no, it's all good. All good fun.
He's got nothing better to do. He's just.
I haven't seen Anne for years. I mean, literally years, 40-something years, must be. Wow. And Steve, Steve and I are always in contact, and so I'm with contact with Anne, but yeah. Steve and I haven't spoken for a while, but it's good to see him.
And what about you two?
Good.
You and Anne, Steve, have you and Anne not seen each other since the Sons and Daughters days?
No.
Not
since I left Sons and Daughters. I moved to America.
Yes, was that 90? That was the reason you left, wasn't it, Anne?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. You know, it was a silly thing to do. You know. One of those.
Oh, you regret it now.
you go back and you think, what the hell was I thinking? Anyway, I did what I did, and I've got 2 beautiful daughters, so suck it up.
How old are they?
And you're all looking great. And I've just got to ask you all a very simple question, but does it feel surreal to say 40 years since that first episode broadcast in Australia, 1982? Wow.
It's crazy.
Yes,
it's funny when we first started filming, because we of course were filming for many months before it came to air.
Yes.
So it's over 40 years for us.
Yeah, 1981.
Yeah, every morning when I drive into, because I'm working as an event and exhibition manager, every morning when I drive into work, I drive directly past the old Grundy House and the Shore Inn. And so I come up out of the freeway, the Lane Cove Tunnel, and there it is right in front of me. And right next to that is the Shore Inn. And the Shore Inn was a hotel where we were introduced to the media. I don't know whether you remember that. And what was really funny was right before that, 2 of the roles were switched. Right before we were introduced, and one of them was Anne's role.
Tell us more. Come on.
Yeah, they made a quick switch. They decided that I would play Angela and Angela would play me.
Wow.
And it just didn't work. It just did not work. It wasn't, yeah. And so they switched us back.
And were you happy with that decision?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it just wasn't me, and Ali felt the same way. And yeah, I forgot about that. Steve, God, you've got a great memory.
Yeah, well, I was only 17 at the time.
Yeah, you were only 8. You were.
Yeah, like the brain was like taking stuff in.
Do you remember throwing my cat off the balcony?
I did not. Now, when I first moved to Sydney. We filmed all the studio in Sydney, so I had to move from Melbourne to Sydney, as did Anne. But when I first moved up here, I lived with an auntie and an uncle in this beautiful mansion in Neutral Bay. And then when I moved out of there, not long after I'd turned 18, I shared a unit with Anne. And in beautiful, sunny, and it's no better now, West Ryde. And Anne went out one night and I had to babysit her kitten. Well, the kitten got out onto the balcony and fell off. I did not throw it, and he broke his leg. So, like, you want to talk about 40 years and holding a grudge?
Some things will never be forgotten.
The cat's long past, Steve. He's buried in my parents' backyard somewhere.
I only told my wife about it a couple of days ago.
What was that, love?
I only told my wife about it a couple of days ago, and she said it was terrible.
Funny. It's too funny.
I tell you what, I'm quite amazed. I didn't know any of this. I might have forgotten, but I didn't know, Anne, you were going to play the daughter. What's her name?
Angela.
Yeah, it lasted about a day. I mean, it was weird. I mean, there was literally no time. Well, you know how it is when you're doing a soap like this. You've got very little time to learn lines and adjust to your character anyway. And this kind of happened overnight. They came to me. It was at the hotel. I mean, it
At
was
the Shore Inn.
right, yeah. And I'd completely forgotten this too. And I said, oh, okay. And that was the day of no cell phones. So I didn't hear from my agent till I got home that night. Gary Stewart called me and said, are you okay with this? And I said, I guess. I mean, I really didn't know. And so, well, secretly, if I was being honest, I was looking forward to kissing Stephen Phelps, Peter Phelps. I mean, oh God, I get to kiss Peter Phelps.
But of course, he was your brother then.
Remember, Peter used to do horrible things whenever he had kissing scenes. He would make sure he ate plenty of garlic or something really sticky. He used to do that all the time. But yeah, and so, you know, we did it. I don't even think it lasted a day. We went into filming on the Monday or Tuesday, whatever, and it just wasn't working. And, you know, we all felt it, and they changed us back. So
you were actually filming?
Yeah.
So you're actually filming? Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't know that you actually got to the filming stage.
Yeah, I actually got to the filming stage. Actually,
there was another character that they did that with too, but I can't remember who it was.
So did you, obviously, Steve, you went up for the role of Kevin originally then?
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, I never auditioned in the first round of Susan's. I was cast about a week before they actually started filming, and I auditioned with Steve. They brought him back down to Melbourne to audition all the Susans. And I
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. You forgot I kissed Stephen. You were 17.
That was with Maura. Yeah, but I'd been up. That was with Maura Fay, who was a legendary casting agent.
God, I've forgotten that name. It's all coming back.
Yeah.
Was she casting, was she?
Yeah, Maura cast us, but sadly Maura passed away quite a few years ago, but her sister is still doing, doing great things. Yeah.
But when I auditioned for that, because I knew Don Batty, I think I was doing Bellamy or Chopper Squad at the time, and he called me in, and I think I did it with him, my audition with him, and then Sue Major was there, and she was auditioning people too.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
I didn't know Maura Fay had anything to do with it. Okay.
No, I was just going to ask, can you actually, any of you guys remember your actual auditions and what you did at the auditions? Who you read?
I remember Steve, and we did a couple of takes. We obviously nailed it because we only we were good. We were magic.
That's why we're all
remember
40 years later.
Something that was very innovative back there, and I was doing a TV show here in LA a couple of years back, and they were filming from episode 1. And I explained to them that when we did Sons and Daughters, if you remember this, we filmed episode 3, 2, 1, because they wanted, when we went on episode 1, they wanted us gelling.
Oh, in your characters.
It looked like we knew each other forever. And I was explaining this to the casting director and the producer, and she goes, why don't we do that more? That's ridiculous. That makes sense. And I said, well, this is 30-something years ago that we did this. So it's not a common thing to do, but it makes perfect sense to do it. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go because we're talking about obviously the first episode being broadcast. Now, I know you, because we spoke about this last time, didn't we, Tom? Obviously, as the actors, you obviously remember the backstage camaraderie between you all rather than the actual storylines, whereas us viewers, we remember the storylines as your characters. So I'm going to come to you individually. Can you remember much about your scenes in that very, very first episode? I'll come to you, Steve, because you're one of the first people we see. When it starts off with David and Patricia as teenagers, a flashback to 1962, flash forward to 1982, and John's walking up a tower, big curly wig. Kevin is on the phone doing all
wig.
Could you remember this he had this big curly wig, and then he had to go on the run to Sydney because he got accused of murder, which was Susan's husband. Bill. Yeah, can you remember any of this?
Bill the Bastard, yeah.
Yeah, Bill the Bastard, yeah. Yeah, and it was Susan, it was the build up to Susan's wedding as well.
Yep.
Can you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just
Remember the
trying to
brown suits?
Yeah, yeah. And,
Ruffles.
Go on, what did you say? Sorry.
All those
And
fashion.
ruffles.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, those ruffles, they're so lovely, aren't they? 40 years later. That's part of the fun of watching the episode now, all the fashions and hairstyles and stuff.
I remember it vividly. One of the first scenes that I did was trying to protect John. So I was phoning up radio stations and putting on voices.
Yes.
And that was a lot of fun. And it was interesting in that it was the first time that we'd worked really closely with a crew, because we'd done like rehearsals in a hall and things like that before. But those many of those crew members are still friends to this day.
Really?
Yeah, really good people. It didn't feel like you were going to work each day, but that's what I remember more so about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Friendships that were formed and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, even like the guys that did the props, John Agra and Gordon Brown, and like those guys are just like wonderful people even today. But they just made, like, Tom and I loved doing breakfast scenes, didn't we? Because they cooked us up really good bacon.
They used to love me when I used to drink the beer, because I never drink the beer. I used to put it to my lips and hold it, and then I give it back to the crew.
Really?
So,
I'm going to have to watch that next time I watch it.
Don't drink it. Never had it. Never had a
David always liked his beers from the fridge, yes.
Yeah, just put it up in my mouth, give it to the crew and let them get drunk. I have time remembering my lines anyway. What are you talking about?
I used to have a beer with you while I was doing my homework.
What about you, Anne? Do you remember much of the first episode? You were in your wedding dress. You were getting ready for your wedding.
Again, like these guys, I just remember the feeling of camaraderie that we all had. It was a joy to go in. Not all sets are like that. Some sets you dread going to, but really? I don't ever remember dreading going into Sons and Daughters unless I drank too much the night before. But as far as the people, they were a nice bunch of people, and we had so many. As young actors, we were exposed to so many legends throughout the show. And we were very, very blessed. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with Pat McDonald? Even you, Tom. I mean, you were a legend. Rowena Wallace.
Oh my God.
I mean, you were. I mean, I was so excited. Here's this guy from Matlock Police. I had a huge crush on this guy from Matlock Police.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be my dad. Behave. But he was, we were just so blessed to be exposed to so much and to be on a show that successful. And you never know when you're going to do a show just how successful it's going to be. And I remember it premiered, I think, on a Monday night. And the very next day, Leela and I went to downtown Sydney. And everywhere we went, people were stopping and staring and pointing one night.
Wow.
One night. It had that big an impact. And I don't know, do either of you remember the time that we did the Grease 2 premiere?
Oh God, one of the world's worst. Yeah,
horrible movie, but you remember we got down there and the street was just filled with fans, welcomers. It was amazing. And, and I don't ever remember anybody being rude to fans. I think we were all very humble by our success. And, after all, it's show business. It is a business. But we were always kind. I don't remember anybody not being kind. Do you ever have any stories about funny fans, fans that take things far too seriously and actually think,
you know, what's going on screen is actually real. Did you ever have any of those experiences?
Oh, many
Really?
that still call me Kevin. I mean, I drop in some of the forums on Facebook. I drop in occasionally when people will post, who's your favourite one? And I'll go in and go, me. But some of them had like fairies living in the bottom of the garden, and it was kind of strange when more people know you than you know. And that's the thing that was really hard to come to terms with it at first. But yeah, most people called us either Susan or David or Kevin.
Yeah.
There was one when I was doing the DVD for that show, and Kevin, that's good. Stephen was part of it, but there was a young lady from Wollongong way. She was so keen on it that she had this huge book with all the clippings from all the magazines and photos. She just loved the show, and she regarded it as the Palmers were a working class family, and she was saying we can really relate to that. Yeah. What the storylines were. She said, yeah, we can relate to that. And then Stephen and I had the pleasure of going to Belgium, and they were just fantastic over there, because they're those fans now, aren't they, Stephen? They're friends on Facebook, aren't they?
Yeah, they're friends even to this day. A lot of them, when they visit Australia, catch up with Tom and stay with you. Some of them do too, don't they?
I'm hoping to come to Australia soon, Tom.
Yeah, so we were approached by a magazine in Belgium called Dag Allemaal, and you want to talk, Anne, about having the honour of working with those guys, and even Phelpsy had a big portfolio behind him, right? So Tom and I were approached by this magazine called Dag Allemaal out of Belgium, and that two magazines, Dag Allemaal and Yopi, and they flew myself, Tom, and Pat McDonald to Belgium, and we were supposed to be there for about 10 days, and God, I don't know how long we were there for, though, Tom, but we're not talking about a couple of hundred people turning up at a signing or an appearance. We were talking thousands, and they had a film crew follow us around. Just amazing footage, wasn't it? But just the most beautiful people.
Yeah, lovely people. Oh, they're great people. They still are. They're lovely people.
Yeah.
Christmas cards, and when I go overseas sometimes, I'll go up to Belgium and see Vic, who's the man that organised it all. And then we'll call on a few of the fans to come and meet us. You know, Nancy, Monica, and Christina, and all that. They'll come and have a lunch with me and all that. So yeah, still there, still good.
Well, I was going to say, Steve, you must have felt like one of the Beatles, because I've actually seen some of that Belgium tour footage where you were all stood on a stage, and honestly, like you said, there were thousands there. You were just stood there and everybody was screaming. It was like they were clamoring to get to you, like you were one of the Beatles. So I imagine it must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was bizarre. There was this whole format that we did at each place we did appearances. We even did a nighttime talk show that the Pet Shop Boys were on as well, which was really interesting. So we got to meet those guys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we would it would start off with Nicole and Hugo, who are big stars, variety stars in Belgium, who had represented Belgium at several Eurovisions, and they re-recorded the song, and it went to #1, and that's on that popularity. That's why we were invited to go over there. So we start off with Nicole and Hugo, and then there was a gentleman who was like the older statesman celebrity, Walter Cappiau, who then interviewed us on stage at each of the places. And then it was bizarre, wasn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it was. We stayed with Jackie, and then there's a lovely girl over there called Gaytan, and she's been having a bit of problems with her health and that, but she's always on Facebook, always cracking jokes. So I don't know if you're watching, mate, but keep it up. You're going good. Yeah, lovely. And they're all good, weren't they? We stayed at Jackie's motel and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful. Based out of Antwerpen for the majority of it, but they just treated us like royalty. We went to Bastogne, and we God, the amount of things that we did in a short amount of time was just phenomenal, wasn't it? Ostend and Brussels.
and we went to a skiing event, didn't we? And they put us on.
They go, what we'll get you
No
guys to water ski in,
water
and then
ski.
we'll interview you. And we go, yeah, okay. And Tom goes, can you
That'll
water
work.
ski? And I go,
We stayed on though. We didn't
you
fall
got to
off. We
start
stayed on.
somewhere. So that was my first attempt at water skiing, and I didn't fall off. Yeah.
Oh God, funny.
Never done that.
It was hilarious.
It was.
Well, I was going to ask, because obviously what Anne was saying before, obviously 40 years ago, we were living in a different world. We had no internet, social media hadn't taken its grip on the world. So I just wondered, what sort of promotion did you do for the show before it actually first went to air? Did you do any chat shows? Did you have to go to like all these promotional events? Because I know it was an immediate hit when it first came on, wasn't it? It was an immediate hit on the first night, as Anne said. Can you remember any of the events you had to attend before, to promote the show?
No, we were.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we were kept a secret for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was like with the majority of it, like
coming out the closet.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about Brian Blaine. Sadly missed. He was a lovely, lovely man, Brian.
Oh, it's all, I hate when I hear all these, someone will send me, oh, did you know? And send me the information. And in fact, Phelps was over here filming Baywatch, I think, or filming something when Pat McDonald died. And we were talking and I said, hey, I called him up and said, Pat McDonald died, and he didn't. And was a little, we're all affected. But we're all kind of getting old. It's been 40 years.
Yeah, when Pat passed away at her funeral, the people from Belgium were over here actually on their tour, and they all went to the church to her funeral.
Wow.
That was very nice. Yeah, they were happy about that.
Very dedicated.
Yeah.
Talking about promotion, you said about the hotel, Stephen. I remember going to some restaurant down near Gladesville. Is that with Sons and Daughters? Went down to Gladesville one night and we got up on stage and said, hi, happy one. No. Somewhere down there.
I don't remember that.
There were quite a few.
I know Antonia and I did a heap of publicity appearances once the show was running. And we went into places like Seven Hills and Roselands and which are big sort of places around Sydney. So we did quite a few of those together. We even did a fashion shoot up on the Everglades in Blue Mountains.
Wow.
I'm about as much a model as a brick is.
Oh, I forgot. Antonia was a model in the show, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn.
We used to go to a lot of
going on. Sorry, Tom.
No, you're right. No. We used to go to a lot of telethons, Perth and Brisbane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go up there and wave the flag and try to raise
money.
Telethon's
a thing there, Ian?
What was that, sorry?
A telethon's a thing.
We used to have telethons. Yeah, we did years ago. Not so much now.
Yeah, not so much over here either. They'll do concerts and things over here for special events. And you call in and donate money, but not like in Australia, like the Good Friday appeal that they have in Melbourne and Adelaide every year. Nothing like that.
No, they don't do it. Well, we used to have a telethon in the early 90s, but it's like, and we do have special concerts where you phone in or you can donate over the phone or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
The ones in Sydney were few and far between, but Brisbane were great. I never went, you did, I think, though, Tom. I never went to the Perth ones. And the difference between the Eastern State telethons and the Perth one was at the time, Channel 7 in Perth was owned by a magnate, Alan Bond.
Homes of Court.
Oh, Homes of Court, yeah. Well, in Sydney, you'd have like a special guest might be Max Bygraves. In Perth, it was Michael Jackson. It was like completely... Yeah, big names they got to that.
Yeah. Frankie Davis Jr.
Cool.
Sammy.
He took it. He was lovely.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, Sammy, Tom. So.
Well, Sammy was great. Sammy, I call him Sammy.
Yeah.
we came back on the same flight, actually. Phelpsy, I think Phelpsy was there, yeah. And we came back on the same flight. When we arrived in Sydney, he invited Phelpsy and myself to come and see, back to his hotel to see a James Bond movie.
Oh,
and,
wow.
we thought, well, we'd love to, but we've got to go. We have to go to work, you know. But we thought that was nice. He was very friendly, very friendly.
Yeah.
That would be the story for the ages if you'd been able to do that.
There's other great stories, but I won't say.
Oh, please do, Tom. Don't be a spoil sport. Come on.
No.
I'll ask you off air.
Yeah.
And he'll still deny it.
Yeah. Well, guys, it would be nice to remember some of the other cast members as well, I thought. Obviously, we'll start off with those that are no longer with us. I know you've already mentioned Pat and Brian Blaine, and then there was Anne Hardy as well. Did you, Tom, I know you had quite a few scenes with Anne Hardy, didn't you?
No, I don't know. I have too many scenes with her in Sons and Daughters, but I've worked with her quite a few times in Matlock Police.
Oh, right. So
very strong in her personality. And when I first met her in Matlock Police, I thought, oh my God, who's this woman? But she was very friendly, very nice. Yeah,
she was.
And talking about Brian Blaine, his character as Gordon Hamilton was nothing like Brian Blaine. Brian was completely different. Brian was a bit stooped over, funny, laughing all the time. And he told me a story. I met Brian. I was working for Paramount Pictures, right, as a sales rep, flogging movies around Queensland. And we had to go to a play at a theatre restaurant. And that's where I met Brian. He was in it. Charlie's aunt, I think it was. And I gave him a lift home. And then all those years later, we met up on Sons and Daughters. Wow. And then he related a story about he had to go to some acting school, and the guy introduced him. And he said to the students, this man's been in so many plays. And Brian was actually in 600 stage plays.
Wow.
Really?
In his career. And
wow.
all the wow. And he's nothing like Gordon Hamilton. He was just a wonderful human being, very nice, very funny.
He told me once one of the wonderful trappings of he was living alone was with the money he was making, he was able to pay off his house in Leichhardt, and he had this house that was very narrow but very long. Like it was like he was living in a hallway, but he only had like $1,000 left to pay on it. But he figured that he was better to stay associated with the bank than not. So he then changed his payments to 5 cents a week. So he was draw it out. So it actually cost the bank more in paperwork than what was left. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy.
He actually pulled up all the floor, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was like a long time. Had no floorboards there. Yeah, funny.
Yeah, he'd start stuff, but he was not a handyman. Like, what are you doing? Another one that sadly left us is Sarah Kemp.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And you want to talk about like peeling back the layers of somebody's background. Sarah was extremely private. Like, there's a lot of things about her that none of us knew. But one I've only recently found out was that she was on the Benny Hill show.
Over here. Wow.
Yeah, she was one of Benny's angels.
Yeah.
No way.
The girls that chased him around.
Yeah, I just remember that little do the speed up thing with the silly music and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. I think she'd done Doctor Who, I think.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. Is that true? Yeah. So I don't really watch Doctor Who. So somebody had told me, oh, she was in Doctor Who once. Yeah. So. Yeah. And then I think she moved back to England after Sons and Daughters had finished, and I think she became a teacher for a while. Is that right?
I don't know that.
She lived in Newtown.
Oh,
she was teaching at TAFE, I think, or doing something like that. And then she ran for politics. Then she lived up north, up towards Coffs Harbour, and she was then further up, and she was with one of the lighting guys. She used to live with him or married him or something like that, and that broke up. And then she came back again.
Did you meet Sarah Kempan?
I think she came to the show after I left, but I worked with her before on other productions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I know I'd worked with her. I just can't remember on what. These guys,
Well, I was going to ask, actually.
a lot better than mine.
Can you, what did I had, because I know I spoke to you about this before, Tom, but I'm just wondering, Anne and Steve, was Sons and Daughters obviously not your first major TV role, or had you done other things before that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Young Doctors by any chance?
And I know Steve had. Steve, you've done a couple of movies, hadn't you? Some like teen movies.
No, I've done a couple of a mini series for the ABC, and I'd appeared on a cop show called Cop Shop.
Yep.
And the strange thing for me was that none of them had gone to air by the time Sons and Daughters came on. So Sons and Daughters came on in January, and I think it was March. Everything else came on at the same time. So I was on one channel twice, and on the ABC several times a week as well, which was really bizarre.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I mean, very, very lucky.
Didn't you do a series or something with about a train or something before you came to?
Yeah, it was called Come Midnight Monday, which was for the ABC in Melbourne. Again, as you were saying beforehand, I was like working with absolute legends, John Murphy and Terry Gill and Tommy Dysart, and names that maybe our English friends might not know, but you'd know their faces if you had watched Australian things over the years. But Come Midnight Monday was quite an amazing thing to do, because when we were filming it, we filmed out of Rip and Lee, the ABC studios in Elstonwick in Melbourne. And our studio, when it wasn't being used by us, was used by a music show called Countdown. So we would go and watch them record Countdown and then go out to film on location. And we saw some of the most amazing acts that were going through Australia at the time, from Men at Work to whatever, appearing for the first time. But the hair and the makeup artists for Come Midnight Monday, the guy that did hair won an Academy Award for makeup for Braveheart, and the guy that did makeup ended up being the lead guitarist with Ivor Davies in a band called Icehouse. Quite bizarre. Just very, very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time to have met all of these people.
Wow.
Very impressive, Stephen.
Very impressive. Wow, all these stories. Well, I'm just going to ask, because you both just said to me, you've also said how Brian Blaine was completely different in real life. I'm hoping that you're going to say the same for Pat the Dreaded Rats, Rowena Wallace, because I know Steve, well, all three of you actually had quite a few scenes. I know you did, Tom, but Steve, you wouldn't take any crap off Rowena, and Anne, you were nursing Patricia back to health in the second year, if you can remember that.
No, that was after me. Oh, yeah, I do. That's right, I did.
Yeah, she'd had a nervous breakdown because it had turned out, Steve, I must come to you on this because I've been dying to ask you this, because I'm sure you've told this story before, but at the end of the first year, it was revealed that David wasn't John and Angela's dad. So that actually turned the whole show on its head for the second year. And obviously people were like, where on earth is this going to go? And the Healy family came in. Steve, I'm sure you said in a group once, did they at one time want to write the Palmers out and bring the Healy family in? Was it you? I might be imagining that actually.
No, it wasn't me. It was an interesting mix, that, but I all of a sudden then had characters that I could bounce off, because I was the youngest person in
Climo?
Yeah, Brett Climo. He's wonderful. He's very successful fella he is. But when working with Brett, we convinced the producers and the writers to let us feed them storylines, and then they would write the stories, and so we had a bit of input into that as well, which was a lot of fun. And one of them was I'd heard an old wives' tale about people knocking off garden gnomes and then sending photographs of the garden gnomes from places around the world back as, hey, I'm on holidays. So that was one of our storylines. So we went from Melbourne to the Gold Coast, and we had garden gnomes that we were sending letters back from. Yeah, but no, I don't know whether that was a plan by the producers.
So glad it didn't happen anyway.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
because there's no way in the world they could have gotten rid of Dave and Beryl.
It wouldn't have been the same because the Palmers are heart and soul. You needed them to balance off, obviously, the rich Hamiltons.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that story too about that, getting rid of the Palmers.
Yeah.
Told me, I don't know. Someone told me, but they couldn't. I don't know why they couldn't. Anyway, so I don't know.
Well, that's the main thing. They didn't. That's the main thing. I wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same if they'd have done that. So I'm so glad they didn't.
When Anne left, they said no more Palmers. She was too good. Let her, but had to get rid of the Palmers. And then Stephen left, and we thought, oh my God, that's it. But we stayed on.
Yes. Well,
Steve? Did you stay till the end?
Me, no.
No.
I left in about 83.
Okay, so yeah.
I actually left to make a film that then had the funding pulled from it.
Oh. I've got
a really good story that I can share with you all.
Go on.
I got asked to play a prison guard. Here it's about 5 years ago for a TV show. And again, it was one of those things. I wasn't in the first round of auditions. I walked in, knocked it out of the ballpark. The director told me that we're going to have you. So I'm like, finally, I'm going to make some money in this. I'm going to make some money in Hollywood. The production company was owned by, oh my God, now his name's played the president.
Trump.
Joe Biden.
Played the president in
24?
God.
Independent.
Klein?
No. Netflix show. He ended up losing everything because of sexual harassment on other male.
Weinstein.
Spacey. Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
it
okay.
Was his production company. We had a great, fresh, wonderful cast. I've got pictures in here somewhere. It was amazing. It was a really good prison show. It was more a clean version that could go on to network television. It wasn't to go on Netflix or any of those shows. It got pulled, Steve. This is what made me think about got pulled because it was just Kevin Spacey. I was like, I'm not doing this.
I don't know whether you remember, Tom, but you and I were in a similar situation. Remember we did that pilot series for Harry Michaels Productions?
Oh, yes.
And it was,
yes.
It was the way they do those sort of shows is like the pilots, then up against each other, and one of them will go through and go on to production. And the one that went on was called E Street.
Oh,
so we didn't.
We had that for a while, yes.
Yeah. And the girls was F Street. What that? Yeah.
But I know you're laughing now, but it must be absolutely devastating when these.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Like, really? I want to show you something.
Ooh.
You'll see that?
I do.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
No.
It's Andrew McCaig.
Get out of here.
Oh, Andrew, yeah.
Yeah. I was at this, now let me look at the year, 2013, Australia Day 2013. I was at a function down in LA. I was with a bunch of, most of the people there are actors and actresses that show up at these things. There's so many of us over here. And one of these, Freya Tidley, she's a young Australian actor now that's doing really good over here. Her mum was sitting on the couch talking to this guy, and I did one of those stop. I look and I went, is it? Isn't it? And I asked a couple of my girlfriends, do you know if that's Andrew McCaig? I said, well, I don't know. I have no idea. So the lady got up, he got up to go to the restroom, and I leaned over and I said, what's the name of that guy you're sitting with there? And she said, Andrew something. I said, I knew it. I said, when he comes back, tell him his ex-wife is here. And so when he came back, she goes, by the way, you might want to disappear. Your ex-wife is here. He goes, what? My ex-wife is here? And then I started making a scene. I started jumping up and down and saying, how dare you, son of a bitch. And he looked up and he went, oh my God. And then we just gave each other a hug. And that's one of the photos. But he's trying to break into the industry again. I don't know if he's having any luck, but he's still over here.
He's down in Nashville, isn't he? Singing.
Is he in Nashville singing?
I saw something on Facebook somewhere along the line that he was singing somewhere down there. He was playing.
Is that what Vince Martin's doing?
Back in Nashville in a couple of weeks. I'll see if I can look him up.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, maybe I'm making it up, but I know he was there playing the guitar or singing.
I didn't even know he sang.
No.
Never serenaded me. But, yeah, so
I know that Marty Roan has had a resurgence in his music and is big in Nashville at the moment. But Vince Martin I thought he was doing that.
Oh, he was in Sons and Daughters, wasn't he? Max.
Yeah.
He played Max. Yeah.
Another one that's passed away, sadly, that I did have the good fortune of spending a bit of time with later, was Cornelia Francis.
Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant.
And a very, very, very sad, but feisty to the end.
That was just last year, wasn't it, Steve? It's pretty recent.
It's only 2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Very sad. She was a legend. I thought it was the biggest mistake because I think when it got to 1986, I know you two had left by then, they wrote Cornelia out and Judy Nunn and quite a few other characters as well. And I always thought, no, we should never have got rid of Cornelia or Judy. I thought they were great because you worked with Judy and Cornelia quite a bit, didn't you, Tom?
Oh, yeah. I worked with Judy, in Matlock Police. That's where I first met Judy, known her for years. And then we worked together as in the box. I was in the box for 12 months or more before it finished.
Wow.
And worked with Judy there. Yeah. And then later on, of course, Home and Away or something, met her up. But we were friends for many years. I helped her out. We did she had a storyline with Bruce, her husband, about a lottery ticket that was a winner and it flies up into the air and he's chasing it. And what he does, he chases it all over Sydney, over the Harbour Bridge, down over all the good scenery stuff. And we filmed all that and they sold it to Qantas. And Qantas used to put it on their videos when they came out from Japan to Sydney.
Wow.
So, yeah. And it was chasing this lottery ticket. It was quite funny, actually. He's funny, Bruce. But Judy, known Judy for many, many years. Great bird.
Yeah. I love
Very successful author. Very successful author.
Oh, yes, very successful.
Yes. Because I did ask her to attend the last one and she was very gracious about it and she apologised and she just sent everybody her love because she couldn't attend. She was doing a promotional tour, I think, at the time. So,
all right.
Yeah, because there's still quite a few more I'm trying to speak to as well. So
yeah, I think a lot of them think it's gone, moving on. But it's good to meet up like with Anne. I haven't seen Anne for years.
Yeah.
And Steve, we talk all the time on Facebook and different things, but we have.
Oh well, guys, I mean, I always said, because Tom, we discussed this last time, didn't we? We're going to do, if you're still up for it, an annual event now. We're going to do an annual reunion. So I'm hoping that, at the end of the year, we can have all of you on together. Ian Rawlings, and Oriana, and all the other people from that, Angela Kennedy, some of the later cast as well.
Yeah,
what do you think of that? What do you think of that, Steve?
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'll be fun. Good.
That would be a lot of fun. Ian's another one that I shared a house with.
Yeah,
Who?
you
Sorry?
did. They used to have
I
some
shared a house with
parties
Ian.
over there.
Yeah, with Ian Rawlings. We had a place in Lane Cove, which isn't far from where Grundy's were. Yeah, we were there for quite a while. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's another.
Sorry,
another.
Tom.
It's Michael. He played Morel.
Michael Long.
Michael Long, yeah.
Stephen Morel.
Did a lot of voice work. Well, I met Michael many years ago, about 1972, and he was a guest star in Matlock Police, and I was just a guest star and so forth. So I met him there quite a few times, and then we finished up working together. He was a top bloke, nice bloke. Yeah, a lot of voice work. So it's all sad, you know. They pass on, and we all have to, I suppose. But when they pass on, you think.
Soon, I hope.
His Michael's exit from Sons and Daughters was one of the strangest of all people, because he literally was in a storyline, went out a door, and was never seen again, or even mentioned again.
That happened quite a few times, I'm sure.
So I don't know what the story was behind that. But as Anne said before about all of the people that we got to work with, these guests came on all the time, and we got to work with them. It was an amazing place to play.
And it was one of those shows that I think everyone wanted to get on too. We were so popular that everyone, you know, was busting at the seams to be a special guest on the shows. So.
Well, it was the #1 top-rated soap, wasn't it? It was hitting the top of the ratings. It was it was on fire, because some soaps take a while to sort of walk, you know, gel with the public, but yours was an instant hit, wasn't it? Immediately.
Yeah.
Stephen Comey might want to mention it, but I think he won a Logie.
Oh wow!
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which was a lot had to do with the fact that I had so many things on different channels at the same time. But yeah, no, I won Most Popular New Talent for the 1982 year, which was the first Logie that Sons and Daughters won. Logies, which is our main TV awards in Australia.
Yeah, they're like the equivalent of the BAFTAs over here. Yeah.
But yeah, but we had a whole period where the Logies thought to be legitimate, they had to introduce overseas actors as guests.
Yeah.
And over the years, we had people from John Wayne to whatever as guests there. But on the night in 1983 that the Logies were, the guests were Priscilla Presley, Chuck Norris,
wow,
Jack Klugman, Dennis Waterman. The funny thing was, there's all those jokes going around about how tough Chuck Norris is. Well, he sat there and watched me win.
Awesome.
Very funny.
Guys, I don't know if you obviously, because it's early in the morning in Australia, I keep forgetting, but before I came on air, I was telling Anne before, I actually put some clips on from the series. I don't know if you've seen them yet. One of them was with you, Steve. It was Kevin and Lynn. It was episode 10. And David walks in, and Susan, and catch Kevin and Lynn in bed. And he basically, David gives him a good smack round the head or something. I mean, was that for real, Tom? Did you really hit Steve across the head like that? It's child abuse these days.
That's the clip they played when I won the Logie.
Oh, wow. No way.
Yeah, I do remember actually copping a clip, Tom.
Really?
I thought, oh, well, you know, I'm new to the industry. This is what it's about.
Right? That is
of course, funny. You all look so young now. Sorry, Tom, go on.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking then, Tom. Sorry, no, I was just to say, I know I'm getting older because obviously when I first watched Sons and Daughters, obviously Kevin and Lynn were more my age range and Susan for it. So obviously I'd be more relating to them when I was a kid. And now I'm in my 40s and I'm looking back at them now, watching them on the DVDs and stuff. I mean, Kevin and Lynn just seem like what they look like babies now. They're so innocent, and it's like, oh, they're so sweet. That's a sign I'm getting older, isn't it? So
the first scene I had with Antonia, I had to kiss her,
yes.
Which was like, I was so embarrassed.
But it was sweet. Yeah. But it was sweet. I mean, I look at it now and I think, oh, that's the charm. They're so innocent and young. Yeah. I mean, Anne, you had some very dramatic scenes, obviously, with your storyline. Bill was the murderer, of course,
he
which
was the
actually
murderer.
opened up the whole can of worms. So
yeah, he was quite a card to work with. He would do really bizarre things. Like, I remember one day I had to do a scene where he was getting out of bed. I was already out of bed, And he had got the crew to get him all kinds of materials and socks and things, and he stuffed them down in his underwear. So that when he came out, I don't know if you guys remember this, when he pulled back the sheets and got out of bed, he had this enormous bulge. And he would do things like that. And so you would, and then you'd have to turn around and be serious. It was very difficult.
That must have been your honeymoon scene.
Yeah, there was, I remember one scene where he killed a rabbit. He shot a rabbit and I was upset with him.
Yes.
And I'd forgotten about that. I think you might have posted it online, and that's where I was like, oh yeah, I can.
Yes, you got the freeze frame on that one as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was always the thing, the freeze frame.
Yes, I suppose all of you used to like that, didn't you? The freeze frame, because that was the dramatic part that would always make us return to, for the next day. It was like, yes.
Yeah.
We used to do things like switch your watch from scene to scene. So if you're watching that, probably the best person to keep an eye on in the background when they weren't up front in a scene was Leela Hayes. She was hilarious. There was one particular scene where Pat McDonald's on the phone, and in the background is Leela Hayes, and she's opened up a bottle of champagne, and like you hear the pop, and then all you see in the background is Leela going looking for the cork. She was a great scene stealer.
The really sweet thing about our show is we did things like that. There was always that, I don't know, we lightened things up. We didn't take ourselves too serious.
Didn't you have something called the Prig of the Week? Or was
Prig
that
of the Week? Yeah.
Prig of the Week.
You're a recipient of that. Tom and I were talking about this yesterday, actually, and I said I never won it because apparently I was won all the time. But Tom won it several times, and it was a lot of fun. Every Wednesday night, that was actually the end of our week. So we did studio Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and rehearsals and location on Thursdays and Fridays. So you were moving into the next week on the Thursday and Friday. So on the Wednesday night, we'd have drinks in the green room, and this award got presented, which was just like a certificate for P of the Week. I think Phelpsy won it more than anybody else. Rowena won it a lot. It was a lot of fun.
And the crew.
Actually, we had a period there where crew would bring home movies. Do you remember those, Tom?
No,
on a Wednesday night. So people would bring in home movies, and like Leela had some stuff because she was very well known as a singer, and sang on the Penthouse Club and other like late night talk shows. So like she would bring stuff in, and it was all going fine until one of the sound guys brought in his home movie, which started off with two nude blokes walking down a country lane. But remember Spishek?
Yep.
Yeah, it was Spishek Shishneshkovic. Took me 40 years to learn how to say his surname. But yeah, that was the last of the home movies.
Could you imagine doing that in this day and age, in this environment? Woo!
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually.
You would have been out of a job.
Yeah.
Little question for you guys, because there have been rumours over the years, and there have been just that I hear, but some people have said, oh, I think they should remake it. Well, for me personally, it wouldn't be you guys for a start, so it wouldn't, Sons and Daughters wouldn't be the same about you guys. I mean, what would you say personally if you heard it was going to be remade? Do you think that would be a good idea or not? I'll start with you, Anne.
Have at it. I mean, why try to improve perfection?
Yes, exactly. Would you go back if they asked you to go back? Oh no, Susan's dead now, sorry. She got murdered in the last episode.
I found that out. I thought that would have been nice. Yeah, I if they were to reboot it and resurrect her from the dead, they had contacted me before when they decided to bring her back, but
yes,
just couldn't make it financially feasible for me. I had 2 young babies. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, have at it. But
I'd
they
love a
try
catch
that
up.
so often with so many TV shows, and they just don't work. I mean, use your imagination and start something new.
Yeah, definitely.
You're like remaking Grease. Why would you do it? You know.
But then again, I suppose with Susan being dead, that doesn't actually mean anything in Sons and Daughters, because quite a few people fake their death. I mean, Patricia, she went off, had plastic surgery, came back.
How did I die?
Wayne killed you in the final episode, in one of the last scenes. Yes.
That cad.
Yeah, they got married. Tom, you can remember that. Can you remember Wayne killing? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right that Wayne and Susan married in the last year, didn't they?
I think I was away at the time, and because I was like Stephen, someone offered me a movie. I came back from overseas, I think, and someone offered me a movie, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, it was all going to go. So I thought I better leave. So I finished up, and then like Stephen, the money fell through. I said, oh, hang on, I'm not going anywhere. And then they going to bring me back, and then he said, I got the money. I said, okay, so I stopped. Then it fell through, and I said, oh no. Anyway, I came back, and they were wrapping it up, and I came back for those final scenes. With
came back and rescued Pat the Rat, who was then Alison Carr, played by Belinda Gibbon, who was brilliant in the role as well, I thought. Yeah.
Top actress, top lady.
Yeah. I'd love to get Belinda on. I'm still trying to locate Rowena. I mean, honestly, I sometimes think it'd be easier to try and ask Madonna to come on sometimes. But I will keep on pursuing, because I really would like to get Pat the Rat on.
Yeah, I don't think she's too well. I'm not quite sure.
I had heard that, so I'm sorry. So I do hope she's getting better anyway. That's the main thing.
So she lives way down. Yeah.
One faggy.
She's pretty good though, Rowena. I mean, I don't know why. Who knows?
Who knows? Keep trying.
Yeah.
Obviously, the main thing is that she gets better, of course. Steve, you actually, I don't know if you remember, you left for quite a period because Kevin and Lynn went off to London, or Kevin went to some war-torn country, came back, he lost his hearing and lost his memory or something. Can you remember that?
Sorry?
Can you remember Kevin returning? He'd been in a war-torn country.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Good one.
Sorry, I mean, it's 11 o'clock at night here. So.
I would have fallen for that too, Ian. I started to fall for it until he smiled.
Yeah, no, it was nice coming back.
I've gone really red out, so dopey, but there you go.
Yeah, no, it was nice coming back.
Yeah. And we're happy with the way your character exited.
Yeah, I'm a stockbroker in London at the moment. So most people that left from the Palmer family went to Mount Macedon, which is just outside of Melbourne and were never heard of again. But yeah, I was a stockbroker in London that got mentioned occasionally. But no, it's fine.
Kevin and Lynn, Kevin and Lynn, we used to hear about them right to the end. Beryl would always mention them. Always saw your wedding photo in the background as well, of course, Kevin and Lynn's wedding photo that Beryl had. Yes, so you were always remembered. And then you'd sometimes hear her talking on the phone to you. So yeah, we were all waiting for you to come back. So what did you think when you heard about the news of it being cancelled? I know we've spoke about this, Tom. Were you watching at the end, or I suppose you were too busy?
I did watch the end. I thought, and I don't want to give a spoiler for people that are watching the DVDs and seeing them right through to the end, but they did some wonderful things with the credits for the very last episode, and I thought that was a very nice way to wrap something up like that. And you were talking before about doing a reboot. I'm of the thought, similar to what Anne said, why redo it? I'm come up with a new idea.
Yes,
I'd like new ideas. And I don't know whether the storyline would be pertinent today. And as I say that, I think, yeah, it probably is. But still, come up with new ideas. Give new writers a chance.
Yeah. And enjoy the existing episodes of Sons and Daughters. Enjoy enjoy that rather
Yeah,
than
a big problem that's sweeping the world re drama is the overtaking of the world of God, my mind's just gone blank. Your Australian Idols and your all of those sort of shows. So
yeah.
Now, what that means in Australia is that if Australian Idol is on for 4 hours a week, that network have done their 4 hours of Australian content.
Yeah.
In the past, that content would have been Sons and Daughters or Home and Away or Neighbours or what have you. Pick two long-running ones there, but there was a lot of other ones that went by the wayside, but they're not being made now. But there are also a lot of other carriers that are putting stuff on, like Paramount and Netflix and what have you. But yeah, that's free-to-air TV. That's a big issue.
Yeah, something else, I don't know if you guys are as aware of this, is I've done 3 Australian commercials and I didn't have to leave Los Angeles.
Oh.
They were making them over here. There's so many Australian actors over here, they've got their pick and they can make it for a fraction of the price. They can pay us a pittance, they can pay non-union fees. And yeah.
Wow.
And it's sad because Australia was a really happening place in the early 80s. I mean, there was so much work around in the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of period dramas on the formation of Australia, the Ned Kelly gang and different shows. And
Against the Wind.
Yeah, I mean, it was some great stuff being made. And still, I tell you what, when casting directors over here know you're from Australia, they want to see you because of our work ethic. And we have very strong work ethics. Most of us started off in theater. We were never treated like idols in the show. I mean, we were just actors there doing our jobs. So none of us ever had the big, well, maybe a couple, never had the big head and wanted preferential treatment. And they love that about us over here. It's nice.
And you have been acting again recently, haven't you?
I haven't I gave it up pretty much when COVID started.
Oh,
and I
right.
haven't jumped back in because of the audition process. All auditions are still online. And I just can't do it. You know,
No.
I just can't. And this new generation of directors coming up and producers and all, they love online. They love to do it all online. And I don't know if it's ever going to go back to in person. And, you know, the seasoned old actors, we're saying, but you can't get a feel for us online. You've got to meet with us and get to know the real us. And that's unfortunately not happening.
How do you feel about that, Tom?
American things, I just find I don't watch many American shows because I really like the Norwegian, all those type of way the directors do it over there and the actors. You feel like you're a part of it. You feel like we're America. It's all cut, quick here and cut there, and a couple of shows I've watched, and the English shows are better. So yeah, I don't know. I think online thing's a bit of a pain. Like Anne, I think doing everything online. I mean, my son, he used to do a couple of things online. I was talking to someone the other day online, and they just find it hard.
Yeah.
A friend of mine did a lot of things online, 2 of them. And he said, it's just a pain, He said, I shot it 3 ways and you don't hear back from them. And another friend, he said, I bought a remote control. I put my phone up there and I can press the button and do it with my wife. And so, yeah, it's pretty tricky. It's not fair, I don't think.
And you're directing nowadays. I know that you still act now and again, but you direct nowadays. I don't think we talked about this last time.
Oh, yeah, I've been doing, there was a period of time, probably nearly 8-9 years. I had the video production company. And
I've got your DVD, your Sons and Daughters documentary DVD. Yeah.
Yeah. But around that time, a bit after, and even in the early 2000s, I met a chap, a fisherman, great fisherman, Rod Harrison. And got with him. I used to do a lot of videos with him through fishing companies.
Yeah.
And got tied up with the fishing companies for lures and lines and all that. And then I got tied up with another chap who lives up in Kununurra, and him and a friend used to do a lot of photography. And with them, travel the world, you know, the Amazon up near Venezuela, over in Egypt, South Africa.
Wow.
Everywhere, the Solomon Islands, into the Rolly Shoals, the middle of the Indian Ocean, all around Australia, shooting these things. And I'll tell you what, I've seen some beautiful fish. And funny, because when you go on a fishing trip, you think, oh, I'm going to have fish, but you don't. They catch and release, catch and release. Very seldom they'll have a fish. They'll keep it. But some great fishermen and some beautiful, beautiful fish. So I did that for a long time. And and now I just direct for the local theatre company. I did that for 8 years. We've got one going now. Been doing auditions last night. And they're good people. There's a lot of people that act there, and they do TV work. You know, one lady, Maylee, who helps me, a great, wonderful person, good wardrobe, actress, and props. She's been working on Thor and all those things. She does a lot of acting on that. And we've got another girl, Flossie. She's always doing work. She's up for a TV show. She's always in commercials. If you knew us, you see her on so many TV commercials. So, yeah, they're all professional actors, but they go over there and keep honing their skills. So, yeah, it's been
good.
Brilliant.
Good fun. Good fun.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And Steve, I'm sure from Tom's DVD, I saw you were are you still a musician?
No, there was a film clip that Tom and I did for for a band in Belgium, and I played the guitar on it, and it's some of the best acting I've ever done.
Oh, I thought you were. It looked very convincing. Yeah.
No, I try. I can knock out a tune on almost any instrument, but just maybe the first couple of bars of it.
Yeah.
But no, I've got a theatre company with some friends, and we produce old-time radio plays on stage.
Wow.
And we have a base in a boutique hotel in the Hills district of Sydney, and do them many times during the course of the year, which of course has been impacted by COVID. Our demographic being radio plays are quite elderly, so we've got to look after them. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it for what I started doing it for in the first place, and that's because I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, and it's good that you're still doing what you're enjoying.
You know, with playing that guitar and that music thing, I was there, and I actually thought he was playing it too.
You're very convincing, Steve.
There you go, best new talent.
Yeah.
Actually, you're talking about the audition process. As my son has just graduated from the Australian Film, Television and Theatre School. Right, so he did his last 2 years of that during COVID. So their audition processes and their final works and all that were done without audiences. It's terrible, but he's rehearsing for a play at the moment, which is great. But it's terrible, and you can't get a feeling of a performer. We all know people who talk the talk but can't walk the walk.
Yeah.
Live audition is where you find out whether people can walk the walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stephen, your son, he can't travel to Cronulla, can he? I'm looking for someone his age.
No. I'll ask him. Actually,
Guys,
no,
I've just got to
in
oh, go on. Sorry. Go on, Steve.
Sorry, he's in rehearsals for a play in Warrington, University of Western Sydney at the moment, a David Williamson play.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the
I can't remember.
Thanks, Dad. Good one. Okay. Sorry, Ian, what were you saying?
No, I was going to say, I can't believe it's actually, because I know it's the middle of the day, but it's actually 11:10 over here. I can't believe we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes, because it always feels like 10 minutes to me.
I know.
Can I ask you this one last question before I release you all? I'm just interested, because obviously you all have children, so I just wondered, have they ever seen Sons and Daughters? And if so, what did they think of it? Because I imagine it'd be well out of their time zone. So, Anne.
My girls watched some of the clips and they're just like, whatever. My grandbabies, they'll look at the pictures and the scrapbooks and they get excited by it. And they've watched a few. I Can Jump Puddles. I was real particular about them watching that. Good Alan Marshall book. I played Mary Marshall in that. They enjoyed that. The Club, I got them to see that. I said, you got to see me as the crippled sister in the club, and they got a good kick out of that. So yeah, but it's just, I'm Granny.
Oh,
I'm Granny Annie to them.
they'll be so proud of that, though, honestly. That's a great legacy to
I did a national commercial over here, and I called, it was during a football playoff series last year, and I called them to let them know it was coming up. And the girls, again, they were like, okay, there's Granny doing what she does. Yeah. So, okay.
That'll change when they get older. That'll change.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Great. Tom, what about you? I can't remember I asked you that last time, actually. Have your children seen clips of Sons and Daughters?
I think they have bits and pieces. They've seen me on. I played a couple of videos of Matlock Police and they had a laugh and that. But my son's been in a couple of movies and a lot of commercials. Younger, and my daughter's also been in commercials and did a bit of extra work for Home and Away. And they actually wanted her to keep coming back to do this person in the cafe. But she said, no. But she used to do a lot of extra work for Home and Away. But now she's a flight attendant, so she's up and away. So they've seen it. I remember once I did a fight scene in Country Practice, and my son got really upset and cried a lot. I won the fight, but he got very upset. He was only young at the time. But they look at it and think, oh yeah, and they think, they were
quite laid back about it, are they?
They were quite surprised at the morning show thing. Watching me on that, they thought, oh, that was all right. So we don't talk about it too much. Just go on with life. What happens.
What about you, Steve? Have you?
Mine worship the ground I walk on.
That's a shit.
Actually, no, pretty much the same as the other guys. But one thing they do remember is, remember, Tom, when you were filming that documentary, that friend of yours, Big Red, had the reptile show out in Castle Hill, and we went out there, and they remember the filming of that. More than anything else, but that was a lot of fun, and he's doing really well too, isn't he?
Oh, Brad, Big Red. He's got his own zoo in Western Australia.
Wow.
He's great for publicity. He's always on the TV or on newspapers. Yeah, Bradley, lovely fella, always laughing.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah, living the dream.
So too. And I know you know her, Ian. It's Sal, because she's been very good.
Hi, Sal, by the way. Hi to Sal Lovell. And can I just say hi to the two other admins of my the Sons and Daughters group, which is Sal and Cole Taylor and Simon Collins. I just wanted to say thank you very much for your help. Well,
you know Sal's sick, don't you?
I know Sal, yeah.
Yeah, she's sick.
Yes, we're fingers crossed it's not going to be the COVID. Yeah.
And I've got another friend over there too, another fan is Ilsa, and I hope she's well. She's having a bit of upset with her life and a bit sick. So they've got a bit of worry over there in Belgium with some of the guys. So I wish them well. And thanks again for getting in touch, Ian. I appreciate it.
Oh, love you, guys. It's been my pleasure. What we'll have to do is say around November time, if you're all up for it, we'll have another get together. We'll get other people on. Ian will hopefully come on, Ian Rawlings. So you'll have to see Ian Rawlings as well, Anne.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, guys, you've been an absolute pleasure. So I just want to say thank you again to Anne Henderson-Stires, Tom Richards, and Steve Comey. And it's been, I can't believe I've sat with 3 original cast members of Sons and Daughters after 40 years. So you made my night, guys. It was worth staying up late for you. I'm normally in bed by now with hot chocolate. Living life in the fast lane, you know.
Well, you'll sleep well tonight. You'll have sweet dreams of us now.
I don't know. I probably won't, actually. I'm really, really hyped up and livened up now. So I'm probably going to be up for another couple of hours yet.
Before we go, just going to show you something. You can't actually see it.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of the filter at the back, which will show my. I know, it's good, isn't it?
That was the album, right?
That was a Sons and Daughters
Yes.
album.
Yeah.
And Country Practice.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's awesome.
No way.
I've refound
your
this.
copies, guys.
I refound this not that long ago, and I actually got everybody to sign it.
Wow.
So it's got everybody's autographs on it, which was is a nice memory to have.
Definitely. Can you imagine how much that would go on eBay for?
Hey, Stephen, very
Yeah.
clever. Coming home like that so quick from the beach.
I was going to say, yeah, it's very clever. I actually thought it was you were actually sat by the beach. So when I was saying it was beautiful, I actually thought you were. So, oh, sorry.
In my home office.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian.
Well,
Thanks,
I'm going to
it was
have to
great
say
meeting you.
it's been an absolute pleasure. Please do go and have a look at the clips in the groups. I'm sure you'll love them. And I can't wait to see you all again, guys. But again, thank you for now. And I'll catch up with you very soon. And what I'll do is I'll send you the link to the video once I put it up on YouTube as well. And I'll tag you all in it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good on you. Lovely to see you, Anne and Tom.
So
Yes,
thank you again,
great to see
Anne,
you guys.
Tom, and Steve. So we're going to bid you good night now from UK and Australia. So we will see you again soon.
All
Thank
right.
you again, guys.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
See you again soon.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you all. Thank you.